to be doing this solo is quite different. It's new ground for me, but I've got quite a good knowledge of the subject matter, so I'm good.
You think you know it all?
Ask away.
I do know it all.
I mean, obviously, everybody wants to know about the tantalising subject matter, the stories about AC/DC and all that kind of thing. But it goes way back, because anybody who's been put in a great position like yourself has a story that started from a very early age, of course. And we're all subject to the damage, if you want to put it that way, that our parents have inflicted on us.
Yep.
Now, you had a very interesting childhood in terms of it was not normal, particularly when you hit the age of 15. What happened then?
Well, I think you're talking about growing up in the House Commission place in Paran. Well, it's my good friend over here, Graham Kennedy. I can tell you, growing up in the House Commission flats in Melbourne and Paran, it's a great place to be from. It's a Spartan, cold, very freezing in winter. In summer, gets so hot that the apartment blocks are made out of like these big concrete slabs, so they heat up. So you're on the 12th floor late at night in the summer, they start cooling down there, and you're in a building that groans and cracks, which is not good when you're 12 floors in the air. But it was a great place to grow up, because all around you, you had what in my mind sticks with me is role models in reverse. You saw people screwing up what little future they had. And I remember very clearly a conversation I had with Graham one day, and we would have been maybe about 16, 17, and we just both come to the decision we're going to have to get out of this shit house. And that's what music did for both of us. But it was unconventional for me, because when 15 years old, I was living by myself. My mother decided she wanted to move out of town to where she is now, down the Morning Peninsula. So I had my own apartment when I was 15 years old. So it was an interesting time, because we called it Club 56, and we could pretty much do what we wanted to do there. But growing up in a place like that, it gives you a taste for something that's better, and that's particularly what I took out of that place. And I write about it in the book. It's just, you knew there was something else, and there was something else for you. There was something better in life than what you were seeing. The question was how to get to that point, and thankfully that's where music came in via AC/DC, and I managed to, I was going to say, escape from the place. It wasn't really an escape, because my family was still based there for a number of years, but it was a respite from it, sanctuary away from that growing up in the welfare housing, where you'd have, I remember one Saturday morning, getting ready to go play football. I played a lot of football in my younger years, and getting ready and getting my gear ready, standing at the kitchen window, and then a guy went flashing down outside the window. He'd thrown himself off the 12th floor, and that was just another moment where I just went, man, this is not my place. You know, I could be that guy in 10 years. Thankfully, I'm not. I'm here with you guys. But the only negative thing about it is I'm sitting next to him.
You could have been sitting next to Sam Riggy.
Yeah, well, that's a good thing.
Sam Riggy's down the back, and of course Sam Riggy has been our agent over the years, on and off. How are you, Sam? Look, your father, and I mean, quite often creative people have tenuous relationships with their parents.
Yeah.
You know, whether it be their mother, their father, or both their parents, because they're a massive influence. And there's a thing in the book that you talked about, that particularly when your father was passing, and you would come home, and sometimes the only colour that you would see in the room would be the lipstick your mother's lipstick on your father's lips, and it even now brings tears to my eyes thinking about it because
You should see it from my angle.
because it's a beautiful way to portray both your mother and your father.
Yeah, that's I've got to tell you, it's one of my cherished memories of my father. I spent a lot of my father's last year of his life. I took a lot of time off school to help care for my father at home, and I've got to tell you, that's probably one of the most intense years of my life. But I learned so much from it, and I take away so much from that time with my father because I was 11 at the time, and without being told, it was very obvious to me that he's slipping away from us. But the instance you remember is my take on it. I used to be coming home from school, and Dad would be lying there, and he had like those cartoon kisses, like someone's got a stamp, and he'd be lying there, and he'd say, "Oh, hey mate, how you doing? It's how good?" And he says, "Your mother's been at it again." And it was just great because we were sharing a joke in a time where laughs were very, very thin on the ground. It's I'm sure there's quite a lot of you here that were all of the age where we've had pretty serious hits. But I learned from my father so much about dignity and how to handle adverse situations and to look at them of what they are. It's a situation, and it's a situation you don't really have a choice. You have to navigate your way through it without leaving too much damage on other people. And that's what my father did with me. I was sitting there, I used to be like fixing the scale electric's car kits when he was under pain relief, and he'd drift off, and then he'd come away, he'd come back again, and he'd look up and go, "Oh shit, you still here?" And it was just, it's just about learning how to lead with dignity, and it's something. I even hit him with one day. I can't tell you how I come across this thought, but I had a conversation with him. It was just prior to Christmas, 1967, and I think it has its genesis in the fact that I was having trouble dealing with it. He was very obviously going, and I just went up to him one day and I said, "Oh, Dad, I need to speak to you." And he said, "What's up?" I said, "Listen, mate, Dad, I don't want to go to your funeral." And I think as a father now, having one of your children come up and say that to you, I'm just, to this day, I'm just blinded by his reaction. He was completely cool. He said, "That's okay, just let your mother know, that's fine." Now, to me, that is just an amazing reaction to something like that, because if it hadn't have come off that way, I would have had this memory if he had an adverse reaction to it or whatever. He's left me with a blueprint how to handle things, and I don't think he was planning to do that. He did that because that's the guy he was, and if I can be remotely like that guy I was talking to you that day, it just astounds me to this day, and I listen to you.
Fathers, they're very important to us. However, you go past that, you start getting involved in music, and you start playing guitar, but you're left-handed, but you play it right-handed.
Yeah.
And the school system brutalises you and refuses you to allow you to be left-handed. Is that right?
Yeah.
You want to talk about it?
I'll talk about it.
What hand do you use to write with now?
I would use this one because...
So you didn't learn from school? You still use your
No,
I'm sorry.
I was left-handed. I had a big...
But you write with your right hand?
Yeah, I had to.
No,
I had my... If anyone's from Melbourne and from the area of Murrumbina State School, give me the address of Miss Butler, where she lives, because I'm coming after her. This woman is just excuse me, I'm going to swear,
Fingers in the ears. Fingers.
an absolute fucking witch. Sorry, disengage. When I go like that, alright? You've probably heard it before anyway. Yeah. Yeah, Miss Butler, all the afflicted ones, which were the left-handed ones, was sat on the left-hand side, and she would come down with a ruler and just wrap it across the knuckles for writing left-handed, because you couldn't write. I see a few of you nodding there. I know there's some lefties
can
here.
I say?
can.
I think about, because I'm ambidextrous,
Yeah.
but I always write with my left hand.
Yeah.
And the thing is, big mistake. You know, if you
Oh,
go,
I know. That's what I'm going to go on to.
if you
I understand.
you'll just
We'll get to that. We'll ask some questions.
Yeah. Well, what actually happens when, this is what you're alluding to, when you're forced, a left-handed person, to go to right-handed, you stutter. Which was the second thing Miss Butler hated, with people stuttering. So you've got a slap on the head for that too.
So did you stutter?
I'm trying not to do it now. Yes, I go, well, up there. Is your name Butler? No, that was, classically, if you turn someone to right-handed, you get a stammer and the more I talk about it, the more it starts. But yeah, so it's still with me. So, Miss Butler, wherever you are, I know you're not up, you're down there somewhere, aren't you? Yeah.
So you actually played bass. You actually played bass right-handed.
Yeah, I did that. I went and bought my first bass from a place called the Oriental Pearl pawn shop in Paran. And the education department was a big help in my musical career, because I actually took the $28 check I had to buy my school books for year 5, took it to the pawn shop and bought a bass instead.
A true rock and roll.
Yeah, that was good. But the bass was right-handed, so I thought I'll flip it around, play left-handed. But the strings, being a Fender bass, they've got this thing called straight string pull, where you can't change the string. So I didn't have another check for another set of strings, so I was then playing bass right-handed. That's the answer to your question.
Thanks very much for that.
Don't hit me.
I won't hit you anymore, I promise. Not today anyway, Mark. Let's move to the nitty-gritty, right? So that you're in some defunct bands, right? And you even formed a band with young Graham Kennedy back there, who's still young. And Graham Kennedy, of course, was a fabulous guitar player.
Yeah.
He now works for the Wiggles.
Oh, yeah.
As a matter of fact, I think I can see one right back there, but shh, don't say anything, Mr. Murray. Cook's back there.
I've got the photos, Murray.
You were once a rock and roller.
Nearly made the book too.
So, I mean, early days in Melbourne playing in rock and roll bands, what was it like?
What was it?
It's a broad question.
That was hand-to-hand combat.
We're talking about a garage band.
Yeah.
Just quickly, what was it like?
Well, we'll go one step further. I'll go to the first gigs I did with AC/DC.
I haven't got to them yet.
We've got garage bands.
Let's go to AC/DC. Go on.
All right, okay.
Let's jump right in there.
Well, the first gigs I did with AC/DC, the first real gig, was a place called the Waltzing Matilda Hotel in the southeastern suburbs. And when I joined the band, it was very, very early days. The first album had just come out, and we were playing to, massive crowds of probably all of 20, 25 people.
That's big.
Yeah, well, we were big time. But the thing with that is that it was a formative part of the band, and to know the band, what it was like then, and to view it in hindsight to what it is now. If someone had told you back in those days, like, this is what's going to happen in the band, you wouldn't have thought that were Martian, The first week I was in the band, Ralph the roadie told me 2 things. He said, there's 2 things you must keep in mind with this band. I said, what? He said, number 1, it's Malcolm's band. Do not forget that. Check. And he said, the second thing is, we're going to be in London in 12 months. So I thought we had more chance of being on the moon in 12 months. And I was right, we didn't make it for 12 months. We made it in 1 year and 10 days.
So this is the interesting question: is that you, or